Almost did one for
3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everyone, I'm Paul Muscula Warren, living in the city of Cleveland, in the state of Cleveland, in the United States of Cleveland. Music has been around. Last week I talked about how MTV basically sold themselves out, but now I'm going to talk about bands that sold out because, for some reason, again Genesis, but I'll get to that later. But I'm going to go with 16 artists, music artists that actually wound up selling themselves out and kind of upset a lot of people. And there's a lot of them, but I narrowed down 16. Number 16, the Doobie Brothers. Between 1971 and 1975, they were basically a rock band. Yeah, they had China Grove, they had Listen to the Music, they had Long Train Running. It all sounds like the Eagles meet, I don't know, maybe the Spencer Davis Group, basically, because they had that blues and almost, well, actually, Listen to the Music had a banjo on it. That's why he made the Eagles thing, and then they had Blackwater.
Okay.
But one of the guys, I think it was Johnston, who was having problems with his, he had ulcers and had problems with his throat. Enter Michael McDonald. Go, but yeah, he started on Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, what was that one song that he did that I always make fun of? Feeling anymore.
I keep forgetting.
He sounds like the Swedish chef when he's singing.
Well, yeah, so I think everyone might agree that the Doobie Brothers kind of went too far during the, away from their roots in the mid-70s. You could say it kind of started with Blackwater. But I do find it interesting that they have an African-American bass player. And I do like What a Fool Believes. So, and actually, I actually like Jeff Skunk Baxter.
Yeah. Wasn't he in the Blues Brothers movie?
Yeah, and he was also in Steely Dan. Same as Michael McDonald, he did stuff for Steely Dan, so that's why Doobie Brothers had a little bit of a Steely Dan-like sound, except with no horns.
Okay.
And the other thing too is that, Skunk Baxter leans towards the right, and I think he's much more saner than Ted Nugent.
So how is it that they sold out though?
Okay, because they switched from hard rock, guitar, blues kind of thing to
poppy 80s crap.
Yeah, and yacht rock.
Okay, yeah, stuff that you listen to while sitting on a yacht?
Yes.
Or do they record it on a yacht?
I don't know. No, sitting on a yacht, like how we were at the Noah's wedding. But
well, that was a boat.
Okay. Number 15.
I don't remember them playing that song.
The Electric Light Orchestra.
ELO?
Mm-hmm.
How did ELO sell out?
Okay.
One of my favorite bands.
Well, they're my favorite band too. I guess.
Well, at least they one of my favorite songs anyway.
But they have because they started out as The Move, and then they kind of picked up where Beatles left off.
Yeah.
And Jeff Lynne and Roy Wood decided to collaborate, but unfortunately, Roy Wood had conflicts with the upper hand people, the corporation.
Upper management?
Yeah, upper management. So he left and formed Wizard.
Okay.
The one who had that "Wish It Would Be Christmas Every Day." Interesting band. Wizard. So Jeff Lynne revamped ELO. And they were great during. Don't get me wrong, they were great during the
Mr.
70s.
Brightside and
Mr. Blue Sky.
Mr. Blue Sky and Mr. Upward or Fight or whatever. Mr.
But it was actually in the late 70s where they started to become more disco-y. That's why they made the list.
Oh, they sold out and did some disco tunes, huh?
Yeah, the biggest one was "Don't Bring Me Down" or "Don't Break Me Down."
I like that song though. Don't break me down, 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 down.
Yeah, but they got rid of the strings.
Spruce. Don't bring me down.
And they did soundtrack to Xanadu featuring Olivia Newton-John.
Oh, they did that whole soundtrack, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that movie sucks.
And so, and Jeff Lynne tried to revamp the band in the 80s, but no avail. So he actually did produce Roy Orbison's final hit song, "You Got It," the one that Bonnie Raitt later would do.
Yeah, I remember
So that's why they're low on lists, because they're still a good band, but they kind of lost the symphonic kind of thing that they wanted to do because of what happened.
So they changed their sound.
Yes.
And therefore, in your opinion, sold out.
Mm-hmm. Number 14, Metallica. I keep hearing Metallica on here a lot because they were like this hair metal band, but they're low too because of the whole. I never got into Metallica.
How did they sell out, in your opinion?
Well,
I mean, I kind of like what they did with the two things that they did, where they changed their sound slightly, but the one being, of course, playing with the orchestra.
mm-hmm.
I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, Nothing Else Matters.
And then the other one being the Saint Anger album that purists, Metallica, fans say isn't a very good album. That was the only Metallica album I ever owned.
I think that's where many people said
and
they sold out.
I personally kind of liked what they were going for there. There were quite a few misses on there.
Did they actually try to be a boy band or something, or a hair metal band, or New Kids on the Block?
No, not Metallica. That's James Hetfield did cut his hair and has been sober for a long time because he had some severe alcohol issues. But now he looks like he's somebody's dad's accountant.
I confuse James Hetfield with the lead singer of Judas Priest. But,
that's that McCoy guy, isn't it? It's the Hatfields and McCoys. No, that's something else.
Yeah, the bald guy who really loves leather too much, if you know what I'm saying.
He died, didn't he?
I don't think so. He left, I think.
Oh, he just left the band.
Number 13. I'm afraid to say this, but Joe Walsh.
Joe Walsh sold out.
One word.
Huh.
Well, actually, 2 words, but the Eagles.
When he joined the Eagles, he sold out. Okay.
Dude, I hate the freaking Eagles, man.
I could even see him being a guy saying that he hates the effing Eagles,
mm-hmm.
but then he goes and he joins the Eagles.
Oh, I hate the freaking Eagles, man.
That actually kind of sounds like him.
Sleep all night, work all day, or something else, or I'm a lumberjack, maybe. But, yeah.
Got a mansion, and they tell me it's nice.
So, yeah, and at least Walsh got to redeem himself. And actually, he did In the City by himself, and then later it got just labeled the Eagles, even though it's more than likely a Joe Walsh song, basically.
Okay.
Even Dad said that once. Number 12, Kiss.
All right. Well, I mean, their whole premonition was selling out. Well, you know what? Actually, no. Maybe when they first started, they weren't sellouts, but the merchandising happened very early in their career.
Because they were influenced by Slade, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest time they sold out was when they got on MTV and took their makeup off and looked like ugly Jewish women.
Yeah, that's been a joke. Was that a Weird Al joke?
No, actually, Gene Simmons said
Gene Simmons said it himself. That's right. Because we look like a bunch of old Jewish women. Yeah, the guy's got a decent sense of humor. He's a weird dude, that's for sure.
Yes.
But sellouts. I mean, honestly, I'd almost expect them to be higher on the list. You can buy a Kiss cat coffin. I mean, you can buy anything. They'll slap their name on it. And
actually, if you go to Germany, it's backwards Z's.
Oh, right, because it looks too much like the
Stormtroopers.
Yeah, Stormtroopers.
And then, ironically, they're like half the band's Jewish.
That is very, very funny. They started out as like space alien demons, and they look like old Jewish women. All right. Don't do that. That's
okay. Number 11, Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be truthful. Their career actually did have a little bit of a comeback in the mid-'80s because of Run DMC.
Right.
But then they got too much into it, like especially 12 years later with I don't want to miss a thing, and now I'm gonna miss something. Oh yeah.
That I would say is a pretty big sellout song. I wouldn't want to miss any. And They play it on the rock station in town. Like, it drives me nuts because it's not a rock song.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pop song.
It was written by
written-
Diane Warren, the woman who gave us "Blame It on the Rain," and
the woman who's written a bunch of pop songs for movies.
and also "Hold Out" by Chicago.
Wait, Blame It on the Rain, the Vanilli song?
Yeah, Diane Warren wrote
Blame It
that.
on the Rain.
The girl you know, it's girl you know, it's girl you know. It's okay, that's something else. But yeah, that's why I put Aerosmith on there because Steven Tyler just keeps loving it.
Well, and right, and then he was doing American Idol and stuff like that. Yeah, he's a sellout, that's for sure.
Number 10, Sir Elton John.
You're calling one of your favorite artists a sellout.
Actually, I like Billy Joel more than Elton John.
Fine. But anyway, how is Elton John a sellout?
Well-
No, I think I already know.
During the early 70s, he started out in late 60s as a session musician.
Mm-hmm.
And he played piano part for the Hollies. He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother.
Okay.
But and then he had a few good songs up until around the early mid 70s, and that's not why he was a sellout that much,
Yeah.
even though he was a little bit, because he kind of switched his personality like real fast. I think it would be around 1972, Rocket Man, when it started to become the whole sellout thing and taking too much cocaine, whiskey, and trying to eye on Bernie Taupin.
I don't know. I'd say that was more true to who he was as a person, and that his sellout was having the lyrics changed to "Candle in the Wind" from being about Marilyn Monroe to being about Princess Diana.
I'll give you that.
That's where I think he's pulled out. Because it's, again, all right, so you're artists and you're songwriters and all that stuff, and so you can use whatever it is that you've written in any way that you wish, but, going and changing the lyrics of one of your songs that's definitively about another thing to something else, and obviously not exploiting the woman's death because they were friends, but at the same time, write her a different song, or just play that same song and don't change the lyrics. And it's still a tribute to the woman. I don't know.
So yeah, well, and also around that same time, he had as many wigs as he had as costumes.
Yes, he was very flamboyant, but I don't think that part's part of the selling out. I think that was kind of just him who he is.
Number 9, Pink Floyd.
Okay.
Here, I'll give you the reason. In 1967, Pink Floyd was a psychedelic band with Syd Barrett, and he was there until he went insane in the late 60s.
Correct.
And
he's the guy that the song "Wish You Were Here" is about.
Well, the whole album.
That whole album's about it, man.
So that's not what they really sold out. They sold out a little bit because Dark Side of the Moon, they just used that as a crutch a lot. And you could play the whole Dark Side of the Moon on any radio station and nobody would blink. Because you can play the whole damn album.
Okay.
But but I will say, in my opinion, "Shine On You, Crazy Diamond" is my favorite Pink Floyd song because my second is "Arnold Layne," which was from '67 before that was a interesting song, and they actually did a song about groceries. I think it was oranges or something. Okay. But that's an interesting song. That was during their Syd Barrett era, but it was probably around. More than likely, the biggest sellout part was "The Wall." Another brick because they play it one too many times.
Yeah, well, playing a song a lot isn't the same as selling out. I don't think. But would it be because they made a movie?
They made a movie about it.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, the same person who did the animation actually did the same as the creepy Pasta Linda McCartney cartoon Oriental Nightfish.
Okay.
If I made a 16 biggest creepypastas, Oriental Nightfish would be on there because, you got this Rupert, Paul McCartney's Rupert song, and then you got Seaside Woman, and you got Oriental Nightfish, which turns completely 180.
Okay.
But yeah. I hope you're liking this episode. I know my opinions are more different than yours, but that's how it is in this world.
Well, that is true. And
So-
besides, this is actually an interesting episode. And you're doing it pretty well as opposed to whatever the hell you were rambling about during the
Okay, so
Divine Comedy one. We're talking about the band Divine Comedy.
click, like, subscribe, and get notified with that little bell. Thank God the camera's not looking at my brother, not me.
Disgusting.
Number 8. Jefferson Airplane / Jefferson Starship / Starship. We built this city. Enough said.
Biggest sellout song ever.
Yeah, so.
I'm surprised they're at 8.
Yeah. So,
we built this city.
yeah, they go from White Rabbit to We Built This City
Awful
in
song.
20 years.
Awful song. Maybe one of the worst songs ever.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go to number 7, which the Beach Boys. My favorite band, yes. One of my favorite bands.
No,
My
they are
favorite American
sellouts,
band.
though.
Well,
They're bigger sellouts than Jefferson Starship plane.
yeah, but the reason why, well, it's because of Mike Love.
Yep.
Because he said, don't fuck with the formula.
Well,
And then you got Kokomo.
right, which honestly wasn't a song that was anywhere near as good as their other songs that would have been the formula, but instead,
Because, like, and this was 20, and then 20 years ago, like 20 years before Kokomo, you got Good Vibrations, which is almost like, it's all over the place.
but it's a good song.
And yeah, that's what
Kokomo's a crappy song.
And Brian Wilson that was the biggest time when they sold out. And then they had Uncle Jesse, John Stamos as part of the band. So, have mercy.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Watch the hair. So, okay, that's why they're on this list, because it's sellout. Number 6, Madonna. Well, because, let me go start with Madonna, because she was in the 80s, she started out, like her first debut album was, that had Holiday on it, your favorite Christmas song.
Yes, it is the only Christmas song. In fact, we
Like-
can't call it Christmas. It is the only winter holiday song.
And like you,
Holiday
like-
celebrate.
like for, like, you know, if you had, like, the Christmas thing, it'd be Die Hard and Holiday by Madonna.
Yeah, those are the two most appropriate Christmas time things.
So,
And in today's day and age, you can't, sing about coercing a woman to stay the night with you. You just have some broad singing about taking a day out of life.
so.
Because that's what it is. It's a day out of life.
But but Madonna, she was fun during the 80s, and
Well,
had a little bit of controversy, which, sex sells.
a song like a virgin, but her fans would probably most likely say that she would just keep reinventing herself. But us not really being fans of hers, I would say she was just selling out. Just constantly trying to fit the current trends, like when she came out with that awful American Pie remix.
Yes, that's where she sold out the biggest.
That was the crest of the curve, because up until that point, at least for the most part, well, Evita was a start. I mean, that was where you started seeing the writing on the wall, because even stuff like a prayer, albeit again, I mean, at least it was a decent song. She sang relatively well on it, and it followed that theme of her being edgy, but
Because that's so
Black Jesus in the video.
and the burning, and that's why she couldn't get Pepsi sponsored anymore.
All right.
The Cola Wars, like Billy Joel said. Number 5, Bruce Springsteen.
All right, big freaking sellout.
Here's where he sold out. More than likely, 2003. He was like one of the many shut up and play people out there.
Well, I would say it goes back to even as good a song as I think you think it is. But when he started doing movie soundtrack songs like Philadelphia, and it all became about like, I've got a message, I'm gonna make a statement. It's like, no, dude, just keep dancing in the dark. And
Like if we had like a Bruce Springsteen, Mark would be best at it, because he's starting
my
to get the hair.
impersonation.
You're starting to get the Bruce Springsteen hair a little bit. All you need is like that bandana thing, and then all you have to wear is a beret, and I'll be one of your E Street Band guys. I don't know how tall Clarence Clemens was.
Regardless.
Okay, but yeah, because in the early '70s he wrote "Blinded by the Light," which Manfred Mann made
real good
into
song.
Manfred Mann
Got a douche up your sleeve or something?
rubbed up like a deuce.
Oh yeah, rubbed up like a deuce in the middle of the night.
And yeah, that's the biggest misheard lyric.
It's one of them, yes.
And she's got electric boobs from eyes too. That's like
that's an Elton John song.
I know, but still, he also had Rosalita, which I really enjoy, and Born to Run. That actually was more than just the title song. The Thunder Road.
Yeah.
10th Avenue Freeze Out. There's the final song on there. I forgot what it was. And it was up to Born in the USA, which everyone thought it was a patriotic song, but it was like, dude, what are we doing with these vets? We're not doing anything with these vets.
Sent me to kill the Chinaman.
Okay. Number 4, Genesis. Another one of my favorite bands. They sold out probably around the mid-'80s.
Well, yeah, this is a really good example here because...
And it was not Phil Collins' fault.
Oh, it was the other guys in the band?
Tony Banks and Mike Rutherford.
Yeah, they're the ones who were writing songs like about it's just a studio and being a preacher and stuff.
Sue Studio is Phil Collins.
Oh, that's some solo stuff.
Yeah, but the thing is, like when Phil Collins got into the band, he actually, like Peter Gabriel got Phil Collins in the band, and they were doing songs like Supper's Ready, Musical Box, selling them by the pound, whole album, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Yep. Then Gabriel left, and Phil Collins almost wanted to say, I think I'm just going to maybe just split the band. Or like Mark's the South Park Phil Collins.
And, split the band, yeah.
Let's split the band up. I'm going to do solo. Boo, boo, boo to you. Jesus knows me a lot.
It's kind of funny. That picture from the movie Goodfellas kind of looks like they could be the guys from Genesis. So the little guy Pesci. Mm-hmm. That's Phil Collins.
And there's so basically Phil Collins, because if you listen to any of the Phil Collins era Genesises in the late 70s up to the 80s, there's at least one long song, and that was his idea. Banks and Rutherford would rather have shorter songs. Now
more your radio friendly 3-minute pop hits.
That's fine, but if I was a progressive rock band, I'd have like a couple songs and I'd say listen to the whole damn album, because there's
Muse is a little bit like that. That's why I kind of hearken to them. That again, they're not necessarily a great band, but they're better than a lot of the stuff out now. So I can see making a Muse parallel to like prog rock.
Mm-hmm. And it's like during the 90s, Phil Collins said, "All right, I've had enough. I'm just gonna go solo, do a Tarzan soundtrack. You two just control the band like you've been controlling the band." And then they got Calling All Stations, which sucked big time. So, number 3, the Black Eyed Peas.
I can tell you that they are a huge effing sellout. They added Fergie, first of all, and a couple of those songs with Fergie when she first got there, I don't think were straight up sellout kind of things. But you listen to real early Black Eyed Peas stuff. I forget if the name of the song is The Climb or what it is. I remember in the video they're climbing up a mountain. It's a grainy video, and it's a good effing rap song. Hip hop. I mean, really like early 90s.
Yeah, and then there's the other guys that's not will.i.am and Fergie.
Well, will.i.am is a huge sellout, and honestly, Apple Diap and the Indian fella, and mind you, I say Indian not knowing if he's a Native American or if he's from India. I literally cannot tell, but he's something of some sort of persuasion. And yeah, I don't know. They hardly ever rap anymore, but they were decent. That Apple Diap guy was all right. He's certainly not good now.
I heard Apple Diap works at Applebee's.
Yeah, and he'll get you appetizers.
Mm-hmm.
They get the Apple Diap app at Applebee's.
I'm surprised he didn't
He's got a thing on his phone where you can just order the app.
Well, actually, that's not all, folks. Number 2, Fleetwood Mac.
All right, okay.
Hear me out. 1967, they started out as a blues band with Peter Green. And for all you diehard blues rock fans, that's like the only one of the only few times. That's only a few people that know about the early Fleetwood Mac.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dad had some of those albums. Peter Green's really good on them.
Mm-hmm. And they did the song Black Magic Woman before Santana.
Yep.
I think they actually got into the Rock Hall at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they did the song together, but that would have been interesting. But and they had "Oh Well," which is a great song, which is actually the only time they kind of went a little progressive. And they had the Christine McVie, the lady that you like in the band.
She's a good singer. I always liked her voice.
And
I always felt she was a better singer than that other broad.
So, yeah.
Stevie Nicks. Bah!
But so after Peter Green left, there was like that 5-year area where they were kind of a blues band and nobody knew who Fleetwood Mac was.
And then that jerk drummer of theirs, then he started to really turn it around. And
yeah, but hey, let's get this Nixon
him and that
guy.
Lindsey Buckingham fella, and they really popped up the band and they made it radio-friendly crap.
Yes, and that's why they made the list. As a matter of fact, number 2, as a matter of fact.
Stuff like Landslide. Rhiannon's a good song. Is that Stevie Nicks solo?
No. Fleetwood Mac.
That's Fleetwood Mac as a band. And I mean, mind you, a couple of good songs, stuff I listen to and I like.
Rumors isn't that bad of an album.
Right, but it's just that they're just huge sellouts, and her witchy woman crap that she was all into and stuff. She embodies that, and
I think she's odd
people.
I think she snorted cocaine off a unicorn's ass. I think
just shoved it up her own butt. Just a full brick of it and lived off of that for a decade or two.
Yeah, I don't have any honorable mentions. Could you give me? Do you know any
bands that sell out? Just about every rapper that you can think of. At least half of them are sellouts. You could even say your favorite, and I would say, yeah, that rapper kind of sold out. Green Day, people love saying Green Day sold out because they'd be fans of theirs before they put out the big album, and then the big album came out, and about any punk artist that's any punk fan would say themselves that their band sold out as soon as they went mainstream. But yeah, selling out, it's basically like, oh hey, Ice Cube, pretty good rapper, and now he's making kids movies, just stuff like that. I can't think of any other hard rock groups or artists. It's Bon Jovi. I've never liked them, but I wouldn't necessarily say they're sellouts. They kind of just always were about just making money and crappy music. Go ahead. What's your number 1?
The Bee Gees.
That's the best.
They sold out the biggest because during the late 60s they were a pop band. They kind of had that.
A little bit of a California sound. What was it? Hate Ashbury, sort of like the Grateful Dead-ish kind of, like
a little bit
prog rock.
Yeah, more into the symphonic baroque.
Yep.
Like Odessa.
I started a joke.
Yeah,
that's a good song.
Yeah, I sang on karaoke. I did that better than How Deep Is Your Love.
Hey, don't sweat it.
So that tells you something. And so yeah, the Bee Gees really did. It was like, hey, let's do some disco. Let's get some tighter. Let's get some tighter pants.
Like you go from a really good song like I Started a Joke to Staying Alive and doing that soundtrack for the disco movie.
I actually heard there's they almost made one for Jesus. They called Silent Night Fever. And I don't know.
All right, that's a good premise. Remember that one. That's actually funny.
Well, I took it from the Home Improvement, though.
Oh, you stole it. Well, that's fine. I steal jokes all the time. Anyway, you kind of said a little bit touching on it with the ELO thing and how they sold out,
Yeah.
but that it's really evident with the Bee Gees because they just made that genre the whole rest of their career.
Mhm.
And then, however, at 8, I would have put Starship higher than 8 because they may have just with that one song sold out just as big as not as big as the Bee Gees did, that's for sure. But the Bee Gees are your number one sellout. Oh, however, Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters,
Mhm.
they have a whole album of Bee Gee covers
I
that they
heard
just
about
came
that.
out with, and it's just he actually does a pretty. I never have to listen to the Bee Gees again. I'll just listen to Foo Fighters. They call them the DGs because it's Dave Grohl's initials are D and G. So instead of the Bee Gees, they're the DGs.
That is very clever.
Yeah,
So,
I gotta listen to the whole album sometime. It's a couple songs I've heard I've enjoyed so far.
and I'll actually have you listen to a few more of these other, like Fleetwood Mac's early era as well as.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, I really liked Fleetwood Mac when Peter Green was a guitarist.
And maybe some. And I played a few early Genesis stuff before Peter Gabriel left.
Yep.
And Tony Banks took it over. But, so how does it end? that's what counts at one time. But yeah, so that's it for our top 16 episode. Well, next week is movies. I'm probably going to do 16 baseball films.
Okay.
It's either best or worst. But speaking of, the next episode will be about baseball. Field of Dreams.
Oh, right. You're doing the movie sign episode next, and you're going to do Field of Dreams.
So I'm Paul Mitch Cleveland, living in the city of Cleveland, in the state of Cleveland, in the United States of Cleveland. Signing off. Good night.
And we're clear.